Anyway, let's go back to the topic. I wanted to go and use the bathroom, but I just want to finish this conversation, finish it once and klar. Alright. I was talking about my skincare, and I wanted to ditch Pai products precisely because of the fact that they were not Muslim, well, that too, but halal, okay? And I am a Christian, so I don't want to eat food sacrificed to idols, neither use products sacrificed to idols, so I deliberately looked for something that was not that. So I changed my brand of retinol and hyaluronic acid to this other Dr. Dre whatever thing, products type thing. But when I was there at the store, yes, we're done ranting about Islam and what's not going on, but we're going to eventually get to the ceiling point too, that is similar to what I've been rapping on about. This lady that I was having an exchange with in the store that wanted me to buy a product because I scraped off the label to see the ingredients, after conquering her unnecessary coup of my 50 rands that I don't have, all right, she then looked at me again and was like, so you're trying to deal with your acne, you're struggling with problems with your skin, why don't you buy the 65 rand product? And I wanted to leave it behind, but then I remembered that last time somebody recommended something to me. I wanted to underestimate them, but then I took it and realized that God can use anyone, the weak things of the world to shame the strong, the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. It was this cheap little product that was obviously just sold in such places as these. You would never find it at a discount or whatever, but I was like, okay, let me just take this woman's advice. So I took it, and ever since then I've been using it since Sunday. All right, it's now Thursday, 4 days, and ever since starting to use that 65 rand El Cheapo product on my face, I have not gotten new acne. I have not gotten any new acne, not underneath my chin, not on my side. So right now, all that is left is hyperpigmentation. I bet you can see this is a fading pimple from Sunday, right? That was already there when I went to the store. But everything else, I mean, guys, I could come really super close, but my skin is really nasty. Right now, that's what's good. So all I have now is hyperpigmentation, meaning that over the months, you should be observing it fading and fading and fading, and my skin will ultimately be returned to where it needed to get. Using a 65 rand product, very, very super cheap. And some pills that I take from Discam that are there to regulate hormones, type establishment thing. And so my skin is going to be where I need it to be, alongside also me being able to use retinol and vitamin C, because you cannot use any of those two products with benzoyl peroxide. Plus, I told you guys that benzoyl peroxide causes my pores to yawn. It's aging. I don't like benzoyl peroxide, even though it works on acne. It is okay for a teenager or woman in her early 20s, but when your collagen starts to fade on the face, I just feel as if the benzoyl peroxide needs to be thrown very far away in terms of dealing with acne, because it will bring other issues on your face, like sped up aging. That's what I believe, right? Because I made that observation myself. So I got everything I wanted. Here it is that I'm recovering from a flu, okay? Or it's not a flu, goodness, what is like a cough? Breathing like a man with emphysema. I am conquering it. I am getting better. I feel better. I have a lighter headache. It's not that bad. And I've been using basic things like eating a whole bunch of fruit, drinking liquids, alongside taking cough syrup and some effervescent flu tablet type thing. And that's all that I needed, and sort of actually consuming antibiotics type establishment thing. I didn't need to go to a doctor. That's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. And this morning, while I was still coughing out this phlegm and it was grossing me out, and I was like, God, please don't let me get worse, the Lord was like, look at your face. Look at your face. Look at your face in the mirror. When you wake up in the morning, and also after washing your face and moisturizing, you are clearing. Your acne is clearing. Why would I let you die from a cough or emphysema or whatever when I have shown you that you, what is this? When I've shown you that you're gonna, inherit ABC. I am God, and I have promised you ABC. And so in promising you ABC, it means that you're gonna recover out of everything that is slapping you silly right now. And one of the evidences that you are going to recover is that even though you're still in the middle of your cough, you are clearing. Your skin, your face is clearing. You're struggling to find the glory of it because your physical condition, in terms of your cough, this thing in your chest, is making you feel as if, oh my goodness, the wicked were able to knock me down, and look, they gave me this whole horrible illness. Why did they even get through to me? And while you're busy lamenting about that, while you're also busy crying over what's going on in Israel, while you're busy crying over the atrocities that are being committed on the earth, and about all the riots across the world in support of Palestine, while you're crying at the gratuitous violence, the unwanted the unwarranted harassment of God's people across the world, be they Christian or Jews, while you are busy lamenting and groaning at what looks like I have abandoned my children, you are neglecting to realize that which I am doing for you, that which I am doing to cover you, to evidence that you have a future. I'm clearing your skin. And what is this? Go, Israel, right now, they are guaranteed victory, and it is a fulfillment of Bible prophecy. So what is currently going on is fulfilling the word, evidencing that I've never left you nor forsook you, because you know that I am God. When I have gone before and explained the thing that is going to happen, the Lord does nothing before communicating it to his servants, the prophets. I've explained what's going to happen in advance, and I've explained anti-Semitism across the world and anti-Christian sentiment across the world from when I was here, and even in the Old Testament. I made it clear that you're going to have many afflictions, but I will deliver you from them all. So violent men will always come at you. I said in the scriptures, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violent take it by force. So you will be afflicted violently by insensitive randos that are literally trying to take over the world that belongs to a God that has chosen a people, and they will want to try and wipe those people off the face of the earth when they're the ones that the God who created the world is looking at with favor. They're the apple of God's eye, and they're trying to wipe out the apple of God's eye. They're naive. They are naive, but their naivety is not absent of action. In other words, they will to do that which is impossible to conquer. It is impossible to achieve it, and in so doing will fulfill the veracity of my godness, the fact that I am God, and no one can deliver from my hand. No one can deliver from my hand. So expect violent men to come, Karabo. Do not expect to be tranquil and at peace before the millennial reign of Jesus Christ, where there will be true peace. Expect rather that violent men will come, and there will be casualties at war, but their camps will be more desolated at the end of those wars than the camps of my people will be. My people will always be a small number. The Jews will always be small in comparison to the Arab nations around them. So too will the Christians always be a small number in comparison to the rest of the world. There will always be a tiny number. And it is precisely because of how small they are, however, that it will evidence that I am God, because I will have protected miraculously and supernaturally a small number of people when there is like a whole beleaguering of them across the world by everybody. Everybody who is in the grand majority will try to wipe them off the face of the earth, Christians and Jews alike, and they will fail abysmally and not understand how they were not able to conquer such a small people. How they were not able to conquer such a small number of people. So do not worry about violent men coming to flood you, because at the end of the day, I created everything, everyone, even them. Meaning that I can crush them. I can break them to pieces as the pottery that they are, especially when they're trying to exsanguinate Christians and Jews from the face of the earth. Because herein lies the deal. The Lord created for himself a people for his own possession. Do you understand? And so if at all you try to take out or extinguish those people, you might as well try to take out or extinguish God. It's, how can I describe it, guys? It's like building a house in order to house your family in it, and then there is like a guest that comes into that house and then starts to salivate after the ornaments, the kitchen counter, the marble tops in the kitchen. They start to salivate after the cornices, the finishes of the house, the bed linen that is on the beds, and in then salivating after this, then goes to get everybody in the neighborhood. And it's like, I know of this beautiful house. Come, let's plunder it. Let's plunder it and steal from it and kick the people that live in that house out. What in the world, as a homeowner that is aware of this plot and the scheme of somebody that you allowed as a guest in your house, even though they were not of your household, what would you do if you found out that there is a scheme and a plot for 10 households in this neighborhood to basically bomb or take or steal this house and kick out the people out of this house, while the owner of this house just merely sits in his high chair wherever he's at and watches people that he did not choose living in a house that he built for a certain kind of people? You must understand that that person is going to go before and decimate the households before they can even eat up and finish this house, before they even start their little mission to journey to this house and take it over and plunder it and loot it. He will kill them while they sleep in their beds. He will bomb their households. He will make sure that before they get to a point where they can finish off a small, outnumbered people, he will lay flat the whole neighborhood to make sure that this house continues to stand, because he is the one that built that house for those people. God built the earth for his people. He chose them. First the Jews and then the Gentiles. He chose them. And so a world that is gnashing their teeth at Gentile converts to Christianity, and the world that is gnashing their teeth at Jews, is naive to think they can extinguish people that God chose. You don't get, like, he is God. He made the earth. You don't get to say, I don't want to worship you, but I want to hang out on your earth. I want to sit on your earth. I want to continue to gather dust on your earth. But there will be nobody here, naive, isn't it? There will be nobody here that acknowledges you as God. There will be nobody here that uplifts your name. There will be nobody who holds you in regard. There will be nobody who reveres you. There will be nobody who worships you here. But you must just stand back as the one who created this whole establishment and watch all other religions in the world take it over. Watch everybody, every atheist on the earth continue to live and spread fat and do what they want to do on an earth where none of them regard the person that made the earth. No, he will bomb the earth and take just the Jews and the Christians. According to the word of God, in the tribulation, a third of the Jews will be saved and the rest of us who are truly born again. And then we're going to live on a new heaven and a new earth. Because you literally tried to take over an earth, do you understand, that was built for God's people to inhabit it. And everybody else was allowed to lodge here as a vagrant because there were people down here in these streets still worshiping him, honoring him, bringing homage to him. And yet here it is that they want to exterminate the last remaining people that are still honoring the God of the universe out of the earth. It's naive. So for as long as there are still Christians on the earth and there are still Jews, you must understand there will always be Christians and there will always be Jews, and God will always give the earth grace. For as long as we are still on the earth will be given grace, because it is for the purpose of gathering his own people that this whole concern, that is, the earth is still going. But when you are busy shooting down Jews and Christians in the streets and annihilating them, in the UK right now, churches are being burnt. In France, churches are being burnt by Satanists and random far left groups like those who despise the fact that the Bible outlaws the acronym, the global acronym that's wreaking havoc all over the show. They're burning churches and they are threatening the nation's heritage with Christianity. That's what's good. And local authorities, out of the executive, the police of those nations are standing back. They're mum. They're not doing anything. They're watching this massacre of Christians, this desecration of churches in historically Christian nations. They're just watching it happen. Literally, there is an extinction level crisis of Christianity and Judaism on the earth. And y'all think that even though we are God's chosen people, that the Lord is just going to let you basically leave no Christians left while atheists run the show, while Muslims run the show, while all other religions are allowed to just thrive, and there's nobody anymore worshiping God on his earth? His earth. His earth. No, I'm sorry. If you want to exterminate all Jews and Christians, you are begging for the tribulation. The tribulation of which is a season where God is judging the whole planet for dishonoring him. And a great deal of people are going to take the mark of the beast, great and small, bond and free. They will all take the mark of the beast, and only those that have not taken the mark of the beast will be able to live out the rest of their lives in the millennial reign of Jesus Christ, while the saints of God will come back with him on incorruptible bodies and rule and reign with Jesus for 1,000 years, following which there will be yet another attempt at a coup at the kingdom of heaven at the end of the millennial reign, and that is once and for all going to bring about the destruction of the planet as we know it, the earth as we know it. The earth as we know it is going to be burnt with fire, and it will flee from the sight of the Lord, and then there will be the great white throne judgment. So everybody who attempts to take out God's people in and of, they get burnt. And the day is going to arrive when God is going to be so upset with rebellion against the earth that he will burn the entire planet and only take those that belong to him to go and live on a new planet, but not before first reigning righteously for 1,000 years. So Islam is incredibly naive. It's incredibly naive. I don't even think Islam, like right now they have declared global jihad across the world. They have asked for global jihad across the world. Muslims, the Muslim nations, might be prophesied a lot about in the scriptures to afflict Israel. But they don't have that kind of a job across the world. They're not the main opposition force in the very end of the world. So Islam is currently incredibly and violently naive. Their only job in the end times or in Bible prophecy is to afflict Jews, because they're the one Abrahamic religion that is utterly rejected and despised by God. Jews and Christians are the only ones that stand a shot with Christ. Islam is utterly shut. It's Ishmael. It has no inheritance. So the only way out for Islam, for Muslims, is conversion to Christianity. You, like in the millennial, we're not millennial reign, sorry, but in the Tribulation. Muslims gotta down tools because they're not even going to be as strong as the Antichrist system. I don't believe the Antichrist is Muslim. I don't believe the Antichrist comes even from the Middle East. I believe he comes from a revived Roman Empire, which is in Europe, meaning that whatever little bombs that Islam is throwing across the world is not going to win them global dominance. They are not going to gain global dominance. They are not. If anything, as soon as this havoc that they're wreaking on the earth right now, it's going to cause their extermination. Because if you think about the Gog and the Magog war, that's the extermination of largely Islam. It's the extermination of largely Islam because it's the Islamic armies around Israel that get shattered by that earthquake. So the global religion in the end is not Islam. It is some concoction of all world religions. It's kind of atheistic, it's kind of theistic, it's kind of like Christian, it's kind of Jewish, it's kind of Muslim, it's kind of Jehovah's Witnessy. It is just a coexist. It is a mix of world religions. And it's false prophet, I believe, is what is this? A breakaway from Christianity. I don't eat Catholicism. I believe it is the Pope. So Muslims don't even play a part in the beast system in the sense that the Antichrist is not a Muslim. Neither is the false prophet a Muslim. And the devil himself is just the devil. So whatever Islam is doing right now, I believe it is God because of how much they're going to irritate the world. The Lord is going to minimize who it is that they are by the pomp and the arrogance that they have acquired or gained or they're like walked themselves in the past couple of years. The past like ages, what they've done, the world is eventually going to get to a point of being super fed up with Islam, and they're going to fade. They're going to like become very small in number, and then of course they're going to play dirty once they've become really small in terms of their influence and clout, and so they're going to want to take over the wealth of Israel, and that's Gog and Magog, and God is then going to finish them off at that stage. There will be a rise of a global empire, and it will not be Muslim. It will not be Muslim. The Bible has made it clear. It is going to be European. It's going to be Roman. That is where the power of the end is at. So, if at all you want to be regarded as relevant in the sight of God as a Muslim, you will turn over to Christianity. You will turn your life over to Jesus because the Bible even prophesies the extinction of your religion and the be-all big bang of the ending of the world. The height of a religion that is raucous, that is wreaking havoc on the earth is not Islam. It is not Islam. It's some other little wannabe religion that is going to be fostered by a European man. A European man. It is likely a Caucasian nochal on top of that. So it's very naive for Arabs to imagine that one day they're going to rule the world. You're too rough. You're too violent. The Antichrist prospers to take the world over because he's a man of peace. He rocks up charming everybody. Ain't nobody in Islam charming the world. You are not charming. You are devastating. You're scary. You're scary. That's what's good. You freak people out. You work with intimidation. You are drawing flies like with poop to yourselves. You are not drawing people with honey. And so you are going to lose clout. The world is going to be exasperated with violence. And what Islam is extremely violent. So it is not the main power in the end, meaning Muslims, do yourselves a favor and transfer over to a sustainable legacy. Do that. Transfer over. Your religion has evidenced itself as basically ineffective from the beginning of the ages. You are a very angry people, and demonically so you've been charged to be mad at very strategic people, i.e. the Jews and the Christians. You are violent against God's chosen people, 1/3 of the Abrahamic religions. You are literally the rejected one Abrahamic religion. Why in the world are you still holding on for dear life? Christians don't stand with Muslims, albeit them alleging to Abraham. We stand with Jews. Why don't you ask yourselves why that is the case? Even though Jews sometimes despise Christians, currently there is an epidemic in Israel where Orthodox Jews are spitting on the shoes of Catholics and Christians that are doing their thing in Israel because they can't stand Christians. But even though they can't stand us, a lot of them, even though they don't like us, a lot of them, we nonetheless stand with them. Whereas Muslims also don't like us, but we don't allege to them. It is because God has chosen the Jew and the Gentile Christian convert. And the Jew will be brought back to him, to their Messiah, the 1/3 of them in the tribulation. So, like, whatever naivety dwells in the bones of people, to imagine that one day Islam is going to take the world over, and even people who try to fit Islam into eschatology, the only place where they fit in eschatologically is, frankly, I believe, Psalm 83 war and the Gog and Magog war. Everything else, it's Europe. Everything else is Europe. So really and truly, when you get made insignificant in the end, after being really violent, I just feel as if they'll repent before you get humiliated. When you put yourself in a position of honor, and then you get brought low, you get embarrassed. But if you bring yourself low, you will then be exalted. So Muslims, humble yourselves to the Lord, that you might be exalted eventually, because God is going to humble the religion, the entire religion of Islam. He's going to humble it by making it insignificant, even in the tribulation. Muslims are not going to be running these streets, wreaking havoc, committing jihad in the tribulation. No. It's going to be a Roman Empire that is now beheading people. Even your little speciality of beheading people is going to be taken away from you by some Roman dude, likely a Caucasian. So I just feel as if they'll repent or perish. But like whatever. So everybody that's come at me like a ton of bricks, I have evidence that I'm going to survive this insanity, because my skin is clearing. Why would the Lord clear my skin if he has not intended on giving me a future? If you think you can annihilate a Christian off the face of the earth because you are naive. I've been getting dreams flooded by them on a loop the past 3 days that I have not been working out, exercising, and I've been resting a lot instead of staying up and doing whatever just so my body can recover with this flu. I've been getting nightmares of all different kinds of witches, ancestral worshippers in my country, taking me over, taking my future, to like literally a world full of devil worshippers. And all I could do this morning when I was brushing my teeth was wag my head on some. They're so naive. The day will never arrive when, in this season of grace, where devil worshippers successfully coup the church, take everything over. There's only one time where they get real close, is the tribulation, and we're not there yet. We haven't arrived at the tribulation, we're getting close. So for as long as I'm on this side of the rapture, whatever coup strategy to make South Africa teeming at the folds, bubbling at the folds with satanic terrorists, devil worshippers, these spells all over the show, bewitching everything, especially Christians. You're naive. You're like Hamas. You went and invaded a country that is far mightier than you militarily, and so now you're facing extinction. You're facing extinction as an organization. I believe Israel will be like dealing with Hezbollah, Iran, and all of its terrorism that they back. Yeah, they'll be dealing with that. But what is this Hamas and Jayona as itself? Like chef, it's going away. What they did was basically call for their own annihilation as an organization. It's going to be like a liquidated company that is a subsidiary of a much bigger organization, but then that organization is going to imagine it expandable when then they get neutralized. So the future enemies of Israel are going to be future enemies of Israel minus Hamas. That's what's happening. Just like right now, every little random stupid witch that's coming all up in my group, bewitching my prospects for marriage, my prospects for a future, getting an apartment, having any kind of a semblance of a normal life. You are naive, just like Hamas. You have attacked an environment that is far mightier than you, and that means your extinction ultimately. So goodbye, witches. You will never coup Christianity over. You will never eradicate every Christian on the earth. It will literally never happen. Even in the tribulation, there will still be Christians. If anything, the tribulation produces the grandest revival in the history of the earth. I believe the revival of the tribulation is going to be even, it's going to be at a grander scale even than the Protestant Reformation. There's going to be more people in the tribulation that get born again than any other time in history in one sitting. So the attempt to extinguish Judaism and Christianity from the face of the earth is a most naive act. Albeit being very violent, we nonetheless conquer. We win. In the end, we win. So Baloidoe, continue to cast your spells, but you will never extinguish Christianity. You will never swallow us in a whirlwind. You will never finish us off. You might kill some of us who will become casualties of war, but your murder of us will be fertility for the church. The blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church. You will kill some, but you will, in so killing some, burgeon thousands more. So all the best in trying. I'm signing out in Christ's name. I gotta go use the bathroom and do what I need to do. My skin's clearing, and that's just evidence of the fact that I got a future. Try and take that.